first car. My first car was a 1968 Plymouth Fury, maroon, affectionately known as the Tank. So, we could get probably, I think I could fit 8 people in that car pretty comfortably when I was in high school. And it lasted me all the way through my freshman year at college, where I was visiting home. I didn't live too far away from from college. I was only about 15, 20 minutes. So I went home to get a home cooked meal and my laundry. And as I was putting it in gear reverse, the transmission decided to drop. So therefore, I was looking for a new car. And to add to that, my second car, which is kind of interesting, was a 1971 Chevy Vega that I got right after that. Bought it from a friend of mine, and the driver's side door had been smashed in and not fixed. Picked it up for $400. So I had a rope that was attached to the back seat, and to keep the car door closed, I would have to put the rope around the lock to push down, so that if I was going on a right-hand turn, I didn't fall out the left-hand side. It was a great car. Favorite place to visit or vacation? Gosh, I got several different things. As far as like a trip or vacation, I love to go to Italy. We had great trips to the Cinque Terre region and also to Tuscany. We were able to visit France, so that whole area there is always one of our favorites. I'd also probably say our favorite family trip vacation when we were kids was to go to when my kids were little, we'd go to the Outer Banks. We'd go with a couple of other families, and we did that for about 8 or 9 years when the kids were young, and going out, to on the beach and getting ghost crabs at night, and having the kids, making them kind of circle around and releasing the ghost crab so it would crawl across their feet, and the first kid that moved would lose. So you hear a lot of screams from the beach at night, but those are very memorable. And we were actually trying to recreate that and go back here this last May, but of course of COVID we had to cancel. So hopefully we're going to make that trip sometime again in the future. Okay, favorite movie. So I would probably have to say my favorite movie or movies are the Godfather series. I must have watched all of them, I don't know, 30, 40 times each. They always have some great lines. I think my favorite line is, leave the gun, take the cannolis. So, love that scene. And all 3 of them were great. And anytime I'm flicking through the TV, looking for something to watch, if any of them are on, I'll pick it up wherever, halfway through or whatever, and just finish watching them. They're just classics. Where did I meet my wife? So my wife Terry and I met at college. It was we had seen each other, but we met. It was my junior year, and by my senior year we were engaged and married. About a year later. So, and kind of interesting enough, and a little side story to that a lot of people here at Lighthouse I don't think know, but I was actually engaged when I was 18. I had gotten engaged to a longtime high school girlfriend on my graduation day. And as I went to college, I was playing baseball, and I went to visit her. She had gone to a school about 3 hours away by bus. I went to see her. And so she had decided to end it, and I certainly came back heartbroken. And of course, all of my friends on the baseball team let me have it for about 3 months. So the moping guy around college for about 3 months, because my heart was broken, was me. Obviously, it worked out very good, just as my wife. My favorite sports team, actually I would probably say Syracuse basketball team, from upstate New York. And again, while I'm from New York, upstate's a long way from New York City. It's a whole different world. And locally, Syracuse University basketball was very prominent, and everybody wore all the T-shirts and so forth. So quickly became a fan of that, and pretty much stayed a fan the whole time. Had a memory of going when I was in high school or just out of high school to a Georgetown Syracuse basketball game when Patrick Ewing played, and the fans were throwing oranges out on the court, and they had to stop the game. And at the very end, Pearl Washington hit a three-pointer to win it, and the place went crazy. So that's a great memory I had, and still to this day root for the Orange. Okay, favorite restaurant. Well, locally, hands down, it would be the Tasting Room right here in Frederick. Never have a bad meal there. Love to order the rack of lamb. My wife's a big fish eater, so she likes to get the fish of the day usually. And so fortunately, they actually have been, now with the COVID, they've actually opened up in the street. They've closed down the streets in Frederick so that they can have outdoor dining. And we went back to that, and which was awesome. Another one that opened up recently, I'm going to mention that I really like, is called Tsunami, and it's owned by the same people that own in Frederick Lazy Fish and the Thai restaurant there, and great spicy ramen noodles if you like that stuff. So that's quickly becoming a favorite as well. Yes, I do love to read to my grandkids, and the favorite story actually is not a book. So I tell them this story about when I was a kid, and they always ask, Cash, who's speaking now, is always asked, tell me the fishing story. So when I was about 11 or 12 years old, we had a creek about maybe quarter mile down the road. So knock on my neighbor's door, Jimmy, you want to go fishing? So sure enough, we trek down and go down to the creek. And to get to the creek, you have to go. It's a field with cows, and you have to go over the barbed wire fence. So we would either go over or crawl under the barbed wire fence. I'd be on one side of the creek, and Jimmy's on the other side. So we're out there for about a half an hour, and the dairy cows out there, they don't bother you at all. So I end up catching a fish and getting it off the hook and putting it on my stringer, and all of a sudden I hear something kind of like a snort behind me, and I turn around, and about 20-25 yards is a bull that I didn't know was out there, and he wasn't too happy to see me. So I put down my fishing pole and I start slowly walking toward the fence, and the bull starts walking toward me. And I'm getting a little scared, so I pick up my pace, and the bull picks up his pace. So with probably about 40 yards to go, I'm in a full run, and the bull's closing in on me. And I got to the barbed wire fence, and somehow I ended up jumping over it. And the bull comes up to the fence, kind of upset. And of course, I'm scared out of my wits, but I did make it over the fence without getting gored. So every time I see the boys, Cash, he's like, tell me the fishing story. So right now, that's the favorite of the kids.